In the self-improvement world, there are two major schools of thought for changing behavior. On the one side, you got people like Grant Cardone who say 10x your effort, 10x your rewards, go out there and decimate your competition, just go and dominate your field. And on the other side, you got people like James Clear, who's the author of the book Atomic Habits, who says to improve 1% better every day. So what's better? What's the better approach? So I read both the books pretty much, and here's what I have to say. Let me be honest with you guys in the first place that both the approaches work. I mean, just look at the authors of these books. James Clear, who's like really successful, at least from where I am, right? He's kind of really successful. And then you've got Grant Cardone, who's, a real estate mogul, right? So both these guys are successful, and if they say that they do what they preach, then both the approaches work. They do, right? But you have to realize that every person is not the same, and not everything is black and white. I think pretty much life is great, just like my thumbnails. Anyways, so that's the thing that we have to focus on. So you might ask me now, what's the better approach? And there's where my advice comes from. So my advice for this kind of dichotomy is to just look at who you are as a person. So if you're a person who is in a very dark place, who's been severely traumatized, who doesn't really have a high self-esteem, then I think that you must consider using the 1% better everyday analogy, philosophy. And the reason for that is that you look at all the chaos that you've caused in your life, you look at all the things that have gone bad in your life, and you just stare at that, you get paralyzed by it. You're just too overwhelmed by it. Because you're not the kind of person, at least till now, that has had experience to overcome all that kind of trauma. So you don't really get to choose that. And you didn't really choose it, right? So you just got that in you. You have all that baggage with you. So in that scenario, the most you can do is just improve 1% better every day. Because if you try something really hard and then it doesn't really work out, you fall really hard back into your old habits. So that's the thing that you need to really focus on, is that you need to get better 1% every day. And that's possible if you just actually look at someone like, myself. Because I was in a kind of position, 2-3 years back, where I was severely addicted to anime. And the most I could do was just like improve 1% better every day. And a couple of examples would also include like Jordan Peterson's, clients. And the kind of advice that JBP gives to these kinds of patients is like to just clean up their room. And you might think, how menial is that? Come on, that's not going to solve, greenhouse gas emissions or like climate change. Clean my room, what does that have to do with anything? Like, that's pretty much pointless, right? Well, it's not really that. It's just like you need to inculcate the habit of responsibility for the small things in your life. So that's one, alright? And the other kind of people that the 10x rule works brilliantly for, that I think works for, is the kind of people who have a really good self-image. These are the kind of people who had a good upbringing, who are kind of successful, they want to take it to the next level, and I think those are the kind of people that really need to follow the 10x rule kind of philosophy for their life, because in the 1% better approach, it's going to take some time. The habits are going to compound themselves, and you will get a reward at the end, but it's going to take a little bit longer, because that's the nature of compound interest, I guess. But there is a reward for these guys as well, the 1%ers. It's just that it's going to be delayed. It's going to be slow of a journey, it's going to be slow of a process, but it's going to be worth it. And it's not going to be overwhelming as much as the 10x rule. But in the 10x rule, you can pretty much expect, results a little bit faster, because you're doing everything, you're going out there and crushing the competition, right? So I think that's the conclusion. So if you guys found it helpful, then leave a like, comment and subscribe and support the channel, and I hope this helps.